Hey guys, and welcome back to another video in this week's intermediate tutorials. So this video, like I said before, we're taking a break from our classes and objects and all that object-oriented programming stuff, and we're going to be working on some multi-dimensional arrays. So we've talked about arrays before in our Intro to Java course, right? And if you don't remember, I'll give you a quick refresher. It's basically like a general broad variable that can store multiple values. So an example of that would be, say, this is the most classic boring example, but it'll help you remember. So like int, and then one set of brackets, primes is equal to, and then over here you would give, say, 2, 3, 5, 7, and we'll just stop here. Right, so this was an array. Hopefully you remember. If not, check out the array video. It'll really help. So this is like a, I guess, 1D array, right? It says it stores one set of values. So one-dimensional array. Now today we're going to talk about multi-dimensional arrays. So I guess you can think of this as arrays that have multiple layers, like peeling back an onion, except I hope you don't cry, right? So 2D arrays are going to look somewhat similar to our 1D arrays and somewhat different. Again, they can be used for mostly all data types like ints and strings. And I think the hard part isn't about creating them. The hard part is about remembering the order. Now, this is the column and row format that most people are going to show you, which I think is super unhelpful. So I think of it in the two-index way, which we'll talk about in a second. But first, let's go ahead and start creating some 2D arrays. So we have our 1D array here. Let's create a 2D string array, right? I don't really like working with numbers because they're kind of boring sometimes, so we'll work with some strings. Now, we still list our data type, and we still do brackets, but this time, since it's 2D, we give two sets of brackets, right? That makes some sense. So string two sets of brackets, then my array name. So say my array name would be like, course. No, I guess meal, right? I guess food is on my brain because I'm hungry. And then we do our brackets, again in a semicolon. So in that part, it's very similar, except we just do two pairs of brackets. Now, this is where things get a little bit tricky. In our meal, we're supposed to have multiple arrays, right? So we have tiny arrays inside of these brackets, which means that we can have as many arrays as we want separated by commas. So I'm going to do three, oops, that keeps on scrolling. I'm going to do 3 arrays. And so now in these arrays, so in each curly brace, you can put as many values as you want. So I'm going to start off with my first array in the meal array as my, say, appetizer, right? I think most waiters, when they come up to you, they ask you for appetizer, main dish, dessert, and drink, right? These 4 things, right? I think. We'll just go with that. So appetizer, I don't ever order appetizers, really. I just dig into the main meal. So I don't really know any. Popular appetizers. I'll just search it up. Okay, so list. I don't need recipes. I love to cook, but I'm really bad at cooking. Okay, so chicken wings, crab cakes, I've heard of these, hogs in a blanket. Okay, so we can start writing some down, right? So chicken wings, and let me zoom out a little bit so you guys can see all of it, comma, crab cakes. Now notice everything is just like when we're creating our normal string array. In fact, I'll create a string array here just so you guys can see. And so we have hi, and then hello, and then goodbye, semicolon. So this, one of these tiny arrays is very similar to the entire array in our 1D array. That was a lot of arrays in that sentence, but chicken wings, crab cakes, let's do one more, and let's say buffalo chicken wings are too similar. Salad. Salad's an appetizer, right? Well, for me, salad's an appetizer because I could never eat salad as my main course. Kudos to the healthy people out there who can. So this is my first tiny array inside my big array, and it's my appetizers. Now let's move on, and we separate this small separate tiny arrays by commas, and we separate the items in the tiny array by commas. Let's move on to our second tiny array, and this is our main course. I love main course. I'm starving and hungry, so let's just say pasta. I'll stick with Alfredo pasta. That's one. Let's do another one. Usually we like to say if the first array has 3 items, the rest usually have 3. It looks better that way. I also like to do it that way, so we have to think of 2 more. Pasta, I was going to say noodles and ramen. That's a little too much dough, though, a little too much carbs. So another thing I guess you could do that's slightly healthier, I guess you could say tacos. Are tacos healthy? Let's just pretend tacos are healthy. Okay, one more main dish. I'm trying to process what I had for food over these past few days, and I had chicken, right? So imagine ordering chicken wings, kung pao chicken, and then for dessert having like chicken ice cream. That sounds gross, but okay. So we have our second mini array, right? And this is our main dish. Now for our third, in our meal, we would probably order dessert. And I'm an expert on desserts, even though I'm not allowed to eat these things. I love looking at them. So some people like tiramisu. I don't know if I spelled that right. And then some people like classic ice cream. And me, what I usually get for my dessert, carrot sticks. All right, so tiramisu, ice cream, carrot sticks. Carrot sticks are my dessert, don't judge, but yeah. So this is my multi-dimensional array. It looks very complicated. I think so too. Well, here's what I do for beginners to make your life easier, a lot easier. So let me spread this out, and this is how I sort of format it so that life makes a lot more sense, right? Just life in general. So inside of my array, I indent and then I keep on tabbing, and I do that for all of my tiny arrays. So you can kind of see that in your big array, which are these 2 outside brackets, you have 3 tiny arrays, right? So this maybe makes more sense for you to look at, right? To just process at the beginning. So guys, that's pretty much how we create multi-dimensional arrays. And look how many more values that our meal array stores. And it makes sense too, right? So this is pretty darn helpful. So we've learned how to create our array. The next part is learning how to access and change, which is where things get a little bit tricky. First, I'm going to try to print out my array. I'm going to show you guys that you can't just do system.out.println meal. That's not how life works. I'm really sorry, but that's a no. I'm going to pull out our console to make it a little bit bigger, and it gives you this long, weird, decrypted smart people code that I really don't understand, and you probably don't either. So this is a no-no. We cannot do this. So I'll just comment it out, and you know what? We'll just get rid of it. Do not let that sit in our brains. Now, we can print out individual values based on their index number. Now, how would we access the index number? Well, this is how we would do it. 2 indexes. We would give 2 indexes because it's a 2D array. And the first index, we would say, what array is it? So these are all indexes, keep in mind. So this would be the 0th array. This would be the first array. This would be the second array. So the first number is going to be saying, which array should I go to? So probably I should write that in comments, right? So first bracket is what array index. And then your second bracket is going to be what item index. I don't really think that makes sense. So what index is your specific item? So this kind of makes sense and it kind of doesn't. It takes a little bit of practice. So this is what we're going to do. Let's say we're trying to take the value of tacos. So tacos, we need to take 2 numbers in our two brackets. And the first bracket is what array index. So tacos is in our second array, but index-wise, that's index 1, because second array index would go 0, 1. So system.out.println meal. So first, what array index? 0, 1, because it's in the first index array. Now, what specific item is it in our array? It's 0, 1. It's the second item, but it has an index of 1. So meal 1, 1. Do you see how we did that? We counted horizontally which array is it, and then we went 0. So 0, 1, 2. And then we went to our specific one and we went 0. Oh wait, that's probably not the best comment. We went 0, 1, 2. Right? And let me space this out again for you so you can see everything. So if we printed out meal 1, 1, that would give us go find 1, and that should give us tacos. So let me run the code just to make sure that it works. And we'll give it a second to load, and it gives us tacos, right? So you see here that that's how we access it. Let's do a little bit more practice. So say you guys don't like carrot sticks for dessert, which I completely agree, but you guys need to tell that to my parents. So let's say we want to change it. How we would do that is we would just say meal, then get the value and set it equal to a new value. Now, what is the value of carrot sticks? Take a second and pause and think. Okay, so once you've thought about it, let's go over it. So first we need to find what array is it in. So is it in 0? No. Is it in 1? No. Is it in 2? Yes. So it's in the second index array. Now what item is it? 0, 1, 2. It's also the second item in the second index array. And so meal 2, 2 is carrot sticks, and instead of carrot sticks, say we do popsicles. Right? I don't know if you have popsicles for dessert. Sometimes I do. So we changed it to popsicles, and actually I don't know why I ran that. It's not going to do anything. So now let's system.out.println print, I can't spell today, println meal 2, 2. I'm going to print this before and after I change the value just to show you that it changes from carrot sticks to popsicles. So run my code. And we're going to see carrot sticks, popsicles. So yes, it does change, right? Our values do change. So this was kind of tough. Guys, creating it was fun. I had lots of fun. But this part, specifically when we talked about finding the specific array index and using the two indexes, that takes some time to understand and takes some time to process. If you're the chart person, if the chart thing makes sense for you, row and column wise, feel free to use that. Highly encourage you to use that. It helps a lot of people. If this way, about what array is it, what index is it in the array, if that helps you more, then think about it that way. Either way works. And yeah, we know that multidimensional arrays can store a lot more values than 1D arrays, right? So that's it for this week, and I'll see you guys in next week's videos, okay? Bye, guys.